Today it's all about biking, being a better biker, recovering from biking, warming up for biking. There's a common few areas of your body, the knees and the low back in particular, sometimes into the neck and the shoulders, depending on the type of biking that you do. Whether it's a mountain bike, a 10-speed, or motocross, there's certain areas of your body that carry tension, and through repetitive motion and activity, there's certain parts of your body. I hear a lot about knee issues, I hear a lot about low back issues, and today we're just going to go through a couple of basic exercises that you can either incorporate into your existing whole body vibration workout, or could use these as a standalone in a warm-up, wind down, or just use some of these to get those muscles reconditioned for biking season. So I normally would suggest warming up with a pelvic tilt. That's my go-to for any exercise routine most folks know. I would warm up doing a pelvic tilt probably 30 seconds to a minute just on your lower settings. You know, anywhere from the 12 to 16 hertz range on a pivotal, 30 to 35 range on your vertical style platform. And we're just going to do some pelvic tilts just to loosen up that low back, the hips, if you're getting ready for a long ride, if you do endurance riding. Okay. So do that for anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. We're just tilting the hips forward, backwards. If your back is tight, you might even actually feel a bit of a stretch on that backward tilt. The next exercise we're going to get into is a standard one I do in a lot of my routines. We're going to just loosen up and target that low back a little bit. So to do that, we're going to bring the feet a little bit closer, reduce the displacement. We're going to straighten up and lean over your machine. If you're working on a machine without handles, you're going to just have a nice straight spine, let the upper body hang or perhaps cross the arms. Just want to loosen up that lower back, get it ready for the ride or recover after the ride, okay? You could add a pelvic tilt, stand up a little taller. You know, anything you can do to relieve some tension in that low back and that neck area. The taller you stand, the more you're going to feel it in the neck and the shoulders, okay? And I would do that anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute if you feel that back tension loosening up. You could go a little bit longer. The next position we're going to focus on, I love combining positions and two very good exercises to keep the legs strong, give you that power on the bike, but also very good for the knees is we're going to incorporate a squat with a calf raise. Now, if the balance isn't there, I would suggest giving yourself something to hang on to. If you've got a machine with handles, maybe just fingertips. But what we're going to do in this squat is we're going to squat down. You can bring up your settings a little bit if you'd like, and I'm going to need to hang on. We're going to come slightly up into a calf raise. We're not standing all the way up, but we're going to go down into a squat, up on the toes. Well, yeah, I got to turn around. Up on the toes. Hold that for about 2 to 3 seconds. Back down. You should be in balance. You shouldn't be hanging on for dear life. We're going to come up. Once you get to about mid-squat, raise up to those toes like we're wearing high-heeled shoes. Back down into that squat. Okay? If you're doing this on the higher settings, you should be fatiguing within the 45-second to a minute mark. If you're not feeling challenged and you're not fatiguing, widen up the feet a little bit or perhaps bring up your frequency a little bit to add a little bit more action. Okay, you would proceed to do this anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, just depending on your level of conditioning. Okay. The next one we're going to get into is a lunge, and we're going to add that calf raise variation that we just did in the squat. So with a lunge, you can either start with one foot on the floor. I've done sessions on lunges in past. You can put your foot up on a block if you want to get a little bit more level. But the position I'm looking for with that front leg, you want this leg nice and straight. Hang on for stability if you like. And we're going to do our basic lunge, but we're going to come up onto the toe and back down. So you're holding a good, nice straight 45-degree angle, 90-degree angle with that front leg, depending on how flexible you are. Bring that back leg up for some load. Up on the toes, back down. You could add a little dip if you wanted to make it a bit harder. Okay, and of course we would proceed to do this on both sides. I'm suggesting if you've pooped yourself out on your squat prior to this, you're not going to last as long. But I'd love to see 30 seconds to a minute per side. Okay, if you're doing lunges now, this could just be a little variation that you tweak with your existing routine. Up on the toe. Okay, just to give you some variation there. okay? If you have an ankle injury, a bad knee, the stability is not there with some of those. You don't have to come up as high as I have. Pay attention to your own range of motion and stability, and don't push yourself beyond anything you're not quite ready for. The last thing we're going to do, because it's all about the calves and the quads today, I encourage you stretch your calves. So after we have done all of this, a calf stretch on this machine, there's a couple ways you can do it. We're just going to lock the legs. The heel is not in contact with the platform. There is no transfer up really much past my knees. And what we're doing is just like you're standing off the edge of a chair. You're going to push those heels to the ground. You could raise up. And we're going to come back down and stretch those calves. I wouldn't hold it like in the stretch position for the whole 30 seconds to a minute. Maybe just do it in intervals. You come up a little bit, back down. I like to do my stretching on the higher frequencies. You might want to play with what feels best to you. Okay. And stretch. I'd love to see you push that stretch probably 30 seconds to a minute. The whole routine today is kind of ideally going to be, you know, maybe 3 to 4 minutes by the time you get some fluidity. If you're building for endurance, long duration type biking, you want to build up your stamina. You may want to incorporate the slower frequencies and go for longer durations if you're looking at building explosive strength. You've got any neurological issues, you're treating pain, you want fast fatigue. Do the exercises in those higher frequencies and you'll find the fatigue sets in much, much faster. Other things you could consider as a biker, massage. Get your calves on the machine, get your quads on the machine. Some modified push-ups for the neck and the shoulder area. There's lots of options. If you look at some of the exercises that you're doing as a cyclist now, many of those exercises can be converted to the environment that is the vibration machine. So calf raises, calf stretches, calf massage. You know, keep that knee, the low back, and the shoulders tension free, and use your machine as a warm-up and a wind down to make the biking better. I hope you are getting back to biking season. I hope the weather is working for you in your area, and I hope you get out and enjoy as much as you can. Thanks for joining us today.